Hello everyone, this is Bodhi and welcome back to another Minecraft video. We are back once again on the survival server that I have been playing on for the last couple of episodes. And where we are right now is actually in a new project that I built up off camera. And what this is it's an underground base connected up to the Guardian farm that I've showed you guys in the past. And I've been wanting to do a project like this for a while, and I didn't think that it would be a very big or time-consuming project, so I did not do it on camera. I didn't record it, but either way, I think it turned out very nice. It has a sorting system for the loot. It has about like 20 different chests here, or 20 times 3, I guess, of to put the prismarine shards, the prismarine crystals in, and the fish that we get from the farm. And in addition to that, it has an enchanting room, some lapis, some books, and just everything you would need, because obviously the main reason people would come here is to get experience or loot. So yeah, I think this place came together very well, and I've actually been able to sell a few people some passes to use this farm for their own XP needs. But anyway, getting into things pretty fast here, I apologize. And anyway, that is not the topic for today's video. What I actually have to show you guys is in a completely different area, and it's pretty cool, so I will go ahead and meet you guys over there. Alright, so here we are in a completely new area, and I found this place a couple of weeks ago, and obviously I didn't find it with a castle built up here. But the reason that it has been so long since my last video is because I have just been looking at this place, planning out what I want to do with it, and I finally like got some ideas, like some concrete ideas in mind, and I started to build here. And the start of a castle that you can see here, I actually wanted to get the foundations and the start of it on camera, but unfortunately when I recorded a few clips of the beginnings of the building process, there was some errors with the recordings and the clips, so I had to go without those. And anyway, this is where we are in the process now. We are somewhat far along from the start of it, because what I did first is, if we come over here, I originally started by just laying out a blueprint for the castle. And although it's just some stone blocks placed on the floor, it actually took quite a while for me to figure out the best way to do it, because I've never really done something like this before. And even though I had some errors with the clips of the earlier building of the castle, I did manage to get a time lapse from an above view of the planning of the castle. So before we go any further in the building process of this, I want to go ahead and show you guys that. I'm just gonna put some music over it. Unfortunately, not gonna be talking over it, but hopefully it'll give you guys a good idea of just like what I do when I am planning out a new project. Of course, I'm not a pro at this by any means, but I have done some similar things with like the planning out the cities that I've made in the past, the villages that I've showed you guys before. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the time lapse now, and I'll see you guys again afterwards for some building of the castle. Alright, so there you have it. That is what the process of the castle layout and blueprint coming together looked like, and I'm pretty happy with how it all got laid out. And so we've come pretty far from there. Of course, it's not even near at all to being finished or even close to that, because all we have so far is the gatehouse and sort of a barracks or a residential area right here. I'm probably thinking more of a barracks or the area that like soldiers or guards would live, since it's right next to the wall of the castle, or it's even connected to it. But anyway, anyone who has seen a really well-made castle probably knows that this, what we have now, is looking a little bit bare. And the reason for that is that the way that I'm going to be doing this castle is I want to build up a lot of the structures and stuff first, and then come back later on and do a lot of the detailing. So I've tested some of these designs out in a creative world, and what it's eventually going to be looking like is, instead of just having the stone, because that doesn't look very cool on its own, is there's going to be a lot of texture variation, mixing in different types of stone, like cobblestone, andesite, smooth stone, and polished andesite, and stone bricks. I think those are going to be the blocks that we are mixing in with the stone, just to give it a lot more life and character. I do, however, have the roofs detailed out. I do like how those are looking, and I think this is going to be the color scheme for the most part for a lot of the castle. I really like putting the blue and green together, and I can't wait to do more with this building, which we are going to do in today's episode. But before we get to that, I just wanted to do a brief description of what we're going to be doing with this area, because I don't want to just build a castle here. In fact, I think I would say I want to build my base here, but I think it's going to be more of like a civilization overall, because I want to first initially build this castle, and then after that I want to expand over there, up into the mountains, build like some cities, some villages around here. All of that will be coming in the future, hopefully, once we get this project done. But saying it like that makes this sound like this isn't gonna take a long time, which it probably is. I mean, it's a freaking castle. It's gonna take a long time. We gotta get all the walls, we gotta get all the roofs, and then we gotta get the detailing, and then the interiors. There's lots of steps in the future. Luckily, I have gathered up quite a bit of resources that we are going to need to build the castle. I did a very big resource gathering session off camera before I started building this thing up. Just got a bunch of terracotta, stone bricks, all the resources that we're going to be needing. And anyway, what I think that I'll be building up in today's episode is I think I'm gonna get to work on this building right here, maybe get another tower in, and then maybe get to that building over there that's connected to this, or it will be eventually. And then, but maybe instead of moving on to a final building, I might actually just start getting some texture variation into the gatehouse. And normally I'd wait till the end to start doing that, I think, but I kind of want to show you guys, if possible, what it's going to look like, what a finalized building would look like, at least in terms of the exterior. Obviously, it's just empty inside there right now. But anyway, so I will think about that, but I think the best way to do this is in the form of, you guessed it, a time lapse. And so we're going to get a second time lapse for today's episode going, and I hope this will come together pretty well, and I'll see you guys right after that. Welcome back, guys. That was quite a process, but a very productive time lapse overall. Just taking a look back at what we got done here, we obviously got the tower built up, looking very nice, except for the fact that the walls aren't detailed yet, but that will be done in the future. Besides that, we got this nice structure right here, and obviously I have to point out that we got a new roof texture in here. I felt like I, for the most part, had the color pattern planned out for the roofs, mostly the blue and green terracotta patterns, mostly blue for the towers and green for the more rectangular builds. However, I felt like that might get a bit old if those were the only two things we saw. And so I hopped into a creative mode, tested out some block palettes, and came across this, which fits pretty well with these while not being part of the same color scheme. I feel like it contrasts them pretty well, the stripped oak log, and then using the oak planks for a little bit of variation in there, just to make it look textured. And then, besides the two buildings, we obviously came around and got the texture variation in here. I added a little bit more in the corners here off the time lapse because I totally didn't realize I didn't have those done. But I mean, all of this is just to show you guys what the exterior of these buildings would look like. And I mean, speaking of which, obviously the interiors are still looking pretty like nothing, just like nothing. There's nothing in there yet. Hopefully there will be eventually, once we actually move on to that phase of building the castle. But you know what? I'm happy with what we accomplished today. I like how everything is looking for the amount of work we put in. And I also should mention that I am definitely not a pro at this, and when it came to picking the block patterns for the texture variation on the walls, as you can see, it's sort of just like a spammy, not really. There's not really a pattern to it. I just thought these blocks look good together. And I was thinking about going with more of a gradient for it, sort of like moving the blocks from darker to lighter as we went up. But with this amount of blocks, I think that's about 6. It would have been a little bit difficult to do that. And I don't know. This is my first time ever building a castle, so I didn't want to overcomplicate things. And I think this looks fine enough as is. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I think that we are totally good on building for today's episode. But anyways, guys, I am afraid that is all we have time for in today's episode. And I really got into this project, and I think that it is a very successful episode overall. We got a lot done with the new structures and the detailing we added to the castle. I think it's coming along very nicely. But that being said, I obviously this is my first time doing this. I'm not the best at it, and I don't know if any of you guys out there watching this video fancy yourselves a castle constructor, as I am trying to be here. Let me go ahead and sleep. If you do, then maybe go ahead and just, I don't know, leave a comment if you have any advice or tips, because I could definitely use some. I've definitely done a lot of research on building these, like just looking on YouTube and stuff like that, but I'm always looking for new ways to improve my builds. So anyway, yeah, go ahead and leave a comment. And also, go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more, especially with this exciting new project. But with that said, I will go ahead and see you guys in the next episode.